I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mics just like I ran the jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker. It's doing what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, we ride, we ride, ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down, like you're not ready. We ride, we ride, we ride, ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping, calling me starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. Homie, I'm about that.
Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, we ride, we ride, ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down, like you're not ready. We ride, we ride, we ride, ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
What is going on? It is the YSN Power Hour. This is a Wednesday edition, and it is a, I guess, postpartum from yesterday's OHSAA and governor announcement that we will have football. Guys, it's been an unbelievable 24 hours here at the network. You've seen it kind of all over the place. We were front and center whenever that announcement came out, and we're certainly excited and certainly very grateful and thankful for all the support that we've been shown over the last 24 hours. But as we always do, let's get to the national day at hand. Jeff Bezos, tell us why National Aviation Day is so important to you.
Because it talks about airplanes and flying through the sky. I did not know what that meant. I had to look it up on Siri. And why can't we just call it National Airplane Day?
Because aviation could be helicopters, it could be jets, airplanes.
Helicopters killed Kobe Bryant.
All right. That was a hard left turn.
Quinn wants to turn around and just punch you in the face so hard right now, and I want to do the same.
That's what happened.
Look
Corona
at that.
wasn't here.
Look at
Corona
that.
wasn't here when Kobe was around.
Look at that face right there. Quinn just wants to smack.
Yes,
Quinn
actually,
is going to give you a 1-2 punch, and you're going to be on the ground.
It's too soon for that. It's way too soon for that. I mean,
And actually,
that's
Jeff, yes, Corona was around when Kobe was here. Because actually, if you look at the article in January where Kobe Bryant died, right next to it, coronavirus is on the West Coast. So,
Are you? I mean, what's the best? If you had one flight, I guess, to go anywhere in the world, where would it be? Let's start with you, EB.
I think I'm going to Fiji. I'm probably never coming back if it's up to me. But just give me my island, give me the beach, give me the sun, give me the ocean. I'm good to go.
How about you, Ty Bartell?
Oh, I'd love to go over to Europe and take a European tour. I've always heard Ireland was a very beautiful country to check out. I think that'd be a cool place to go.
This is gonna get dangerous. Paul Munson, where are you headed?
if it was a family trip, believe it or not, Ireland was something our whole family liked to do. But myself personally, I would like to go to Brazil.
Brazil, okay. Jamie Thompson makes his triumphant return today, right in the middle square of the Brady Bunch. Jamie, where would you go?
First off, I hate flying. I've been on a couple flights and I always get sick. But if I had to take one, I'd go to Bora Bora. It's always been somewhere I've wanted to go.
I thought you were going to say Boardman, and that was I thought that was going to be the beginning and end of the conversation. Billy Bob Bezos, where are you headed?
I'm going to stay in the States. I'll probably go down to, like, Miami to see what that is like.
Okay.
I was waiting for him to say, I'll go out of the country. I'll go to Hawaii.
No, I'm not leaving I'm not leaving the greatest country in the entire world. Come on now.
Quinn, where are you going?
You know, Hawaii's part of our country.
I
know. I'm actually like spot on with Jamie. I hate flying. I can't stand heights. I don't like planes. I don't like being confined. But I was
as far away from Jeff as possible.
Yeah, or that. Whichever is further.
Scotty, we talked about it today. You've taken 2 flights, both to California. If you had to go anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I thought about Ireland too, but I guess just from what I've heard from a couple of my friends, I'd probably go with Italy. Check out Italy.
Good answer.
I just hear that it's great there, so just curious.
Back from the practice course, it's McNuggies making his triumphant return. Where are you headed there, McNuggies?
I'm probably going to go to Hawaii. Just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, just go out of the country.
I like it. I like it. Anthony Hartwig, anywhere to go in the world? Where are you headed?
He's
Kansas City.
I'm not going to waste
Georgia.
Anywhere to go in the world on a place that I go every summer. Plus, nothing beats a drive. I like driving to Kansas City. It's part of the nostalgia. So I would go. I would go down to South America, kind of check out the South America culture, maybe some Brazil.
Get some blood diamonds.
Rio de Janeiro.
All right. All right. It's time to get to sports. The one thing we didn't talk about yesterday.
Where are you going?
What, me?
Yeah.
I'm going to East Palestine, Ohio. I'm just taking a flight right back, a round trip to East Palestine. That's where I'm going. I would never, with all the smorgasbord that the MLO bros put East Palestine through last night on their show, I got to represent them today, even though I'm wearing a Letonia shirt.
Make sure you get back before the 10 p.m. whistle.
That's right. The horn goes off.
Oh, we got jokers here. That's funny. That's funny. We have electricity in East Palestine, EB. How about you? Where are you at?
I'm in Columbiana. Electricity's great.
It looks like you got candlelight dinner going over there.
Natural light, bud. Sun's only shining in Columbiana. I don't know about EP.
If you look at the 2 squares, they're just the opposite. Like EB's all dark but light behind him, and then you got Jamie over here who's all lit up, but it's really dark behind
That's him. Great light. I think Jamie's right in front of a window. Are you not?
Yep, I am.
Are the birds singing today? Are the birds singing today?
Not today. No,
not today.
Unfortunately, maybe a little bit later.
And we won't have any mowers or dogs, I don't think, because
Billy Mack
is not in the house today. All right, guys, let's talk about wave to the crowd. There's going to be limitations in crowds and in I don't want to say audiences because that's an Isaac Schuster thing, but from pillar to post here in Ohio, there are limitations. What do you think this does to home field advantage for home teams? Do you think this is going to even the playing field? And do you think that with what you've seen in Major League Baseball, what you've seen in the NBA, that this is kind of a bummer of a deal here because there's not as much crowd reaction? Sounds like we're going to have some, but not a whole lot. We'll start down with Anthony.
You know, it's interesting because I think in high school football, I think a lot of the home field advantages comes from the fact that you're traveling to however far you have to travel to the new field. But I think that's still a factor. You know, you're not in your home base. You're not where you're comfortable. You're not where you practice. You have to go to a hostile environment. But then it's not going to be hostile anymore because you're not going to have the rowdy student sections going at it. You're not going to have the people booing you when you do something well. So the players that kind of feed off that might struggle this year.
All right, let's move over to Michael McKenzie. Mike, what do you have as far as how this goes?
I would imagine that looking up and seeing a packed crowd on Friday nights is something that players are going to miss. You know, there's going to be social distancing in the stands. There's not going to be a full section full of students that are going crazy every night. I would imagine it's kind of going to feel more like a scrimmage from a crowd standpoint because there's like half of the stands full of fans being there. So I would say that it might have more of a scrimmage feel from a crowd standpoint, but it almost kind of puts more emphasis on the game at hand because you don't have any of the fans screaming and giving you a little bit of an advantage.
Scotty, do you think there's going to be a disadvantage for home teams now that your home field doesn't mean as much with a packed crowd and a packed capacity?
Yeah, I do think they'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage. I think, DJ, in my opinion, I think most, as far as the disadvantage goes, I think it'll be most noticeable in the early moments of the game, the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game when the home team, the crowd is really jacked up and just at an extremely high level. I think after that, once both teams start to settle in, it won't affect the home team as much getting into the second quarter and midway through the second quarter. But I think early on, those first 5 to 8 minutes, they're definitely going to miss it.
Paul Munson, your thoughts on where things are at with the crowd and the advantages and disadvantages?
I think the big disadvantage is going to be for the away team because they're not going to have as many fans there on the away side. Plus, their band's not going to get to travel with them. Whereas the home team, you're going to get all the parents get a chance to buy some tickets. Every student's going to get a chance to buy at least one ticket, and your band will be at home. So the home team, I think, it's not going to be as loud as normal for most teams, but it's still going to be a lot louder for the home team because they're going to have more fans than the away team, and the band will be a big difference too. I mean, that's huge because we all know a lot of the bands can really fire things up, and I think a good announcer too, a good home stadium announcer can make things good. So.
Oh, I think there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there. Well played, Mr. Munson. We're on to Jamie Thompson. Jamie, do you think there's still a home crowd advantage, or do you think that it goes away when you limit the people in your stadium?
I really do think it goes away. Hubbard, our games are usually really loud. We have a big band, so when you get the opposing offense with their backs to the band, it gets really loud. It becomes hard for them to listen, but football is really the only sport that I kind of look at and just see like a huge effect. Here for Hubbard, we don't have big student sections for basketball. We get them for football. So that's really going to take away from our home games.
I can respect that. We're on to Billy Bob Betos, where what's your take on this? Hey, you're muted.
No, thanks, Quinn. I don't think there's any advantage to either team because okay, well, maybe a little bit to the home team because it's a more majority empty stadium, so the band would be a lot louder than normal. So, little advantage to the home team.
Quinn?
I don't know how you follow that.
I'm so terrible for that.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Anytime there's going to be fans, there's going to be noise. And I guess depending on the amount that you have compared to the other one is going to be the deciding factor. If you have, I forget where we were. It might have been South Range. They got those like cowbell things or whatever that they make.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
If you got those going, it's going to be loud, and you're definitely going to know it's there. But I don't think it poses that big of a problem anywhere else, honestly. Unless there's no fans. You're seeing that in baseball and in the bubble with the NBA that there is no true home field advantage then.
Let's put a twist on this question for the top row here with Ty and EB. Ty, when you look at things, one of the rumors going around is that the stadium or people that are allowed into the stadium will have to wear masks naturally, right? But they are allowed to put their mask down if they are socially distant, and they don't cheer. But if they do cheer, they have to pull their mask up. Would you be a person that is okay sitting there on your hands and having your mask down, or would you be loud and proud and put your mask up and celebrate your team's success, or maybe argue a couple calls with the guys in the zebra stripes?
I'm always I'm the loud guy at any game or any venue I go to. I always make sure I'm talking. So my mask would be up, and I'd be screaming loud and proud for my boys when I see them playing. But I guess just to answer the first question too, it's still a home field advantage. It's not going to be as big of a home field advantage, but it's still going to be there. Because, a lot of these parents of these kids, they make a lot of the noise, too. A lot more noise than you would think in the home team section. So, the parents are just going to have to bring it for everyone that isn't going to be there.
I want to give a quick shout-out while we have Ty kind of on the spotlight here. Ty and Paul did a fantastic job last night of calling that Fitch Howland baseball game, the charity game, which Austintown Fitch came out victorious and took home the championship. We're getting tons of thank yous, tons of just pats on the back, and we want to say thank you to Fitch for bringing us in once again, but especially to you two guys because you took it out of your own time and you did it for us for nothing. So thank you, a huge thank you to you guys. A pats on the back all go to you, and thanks again to Austintown Fitch for allowing us to highlight your athletes once again, and we love doing it. So again, boys, congratulations, good job. Want to give you a little bit of point and a little bit of pat on the back for that. So well done as always. Ty, that was your first baseball game.
It was my first baseball game I called with YSN, and I don't know. I really enjoyed my color commentator. I don't know if I could ask for a better one than last night. Great conversations we had last night.
That's awesome. Love hearing that. We are on to EB. Your thoughts on the cheer and wear a mask or sit on your hands and don't? Your thoughts?
I don't even know. That just seems like that just seems like you're being set up for failure, because naturally at any sporting event, like you don't sit there and think like, oh, I'm going to cheer right here, because it's so reactionary. But if someone in a football game, if someone breaks through the line and they take off and they get to the secondary, third levels and they go for a 40-yard run, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh shit, I didn't put my mask on to cheer. So it's more of a reactionary thing. You might as well just say you got to keep your mask on at all times unless you're eating or drinking. And then on top of that, you're setting yourself up for I guess you could call the quote unquote the Karens of the group to sit there and say, well, so and so wasn't wearing a mask.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, because it can turn into a situation real quick with some of the Karens out there, and I guess they're calling them Kens now, the guys that complain. So we got Karen and Ken. So interestingly enough, I don't know what Emily Drennan meant by yeah Easter Bunny. Maybe somebody could bring some
because they see EB, so they automatically associate Easter Bunny, because they're mostly all my girls. My girls, you have a huge following now every day from 3 to 4. And it's more or less their chance to come troll Quinn and I. So Turnside, we're going to flip the script on them here in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to put them on Power Hour and see how well they do.
All right. I like that idea. I like bringing in those special guests and giving our guys a break sometimes. All right, let's go on to our next topic that kind of came up last second with some of the conversations we had in our pre-production show. What does limiting fans do to scouting football? And the other question is, does it matter because everybody makes the playoffs? Quinn, this was your topic. Why don't you lead off?
Sorry. Some guy just completely blew a stop sign. I was amused. I mean, I don't think it changes anything. You're going to get seen. You're going to get scouted. Coaches will find a way to make sure it happens. I mean, you want to give yourself the best chance possible. And in a situation like this where there's a lot of uncertainty with each team and stuff like that, I mean, wow.
That wasn't good.
I kind of like that, though. It made me look slim. But, yeah, I mean, coaches are going to find a way to make sure it works. I mean, you gotta be seen. You got to know what you're doing, and you want to know what you're up against. You're going to find a way to scout it somehow, some way.
But you made the point to say that coaches are going to get in to the stadiums. You actually believe that?
Absolutely. I mean, if there's a way that it's going to happen, I mean, somebody's going to scout somebody. It's just how it is. I mean, somehow, some way, you're going to get scouted.
How are coaches going to get into the stadiums? If you had to get into a stadium, how would you do it?
Buy a ticket.
They can't.
If you can, buy a ticket. Find a way in. There's a way. There's bound to be a way. And somebody's going to find a way in. You'll see.
We're going to go to Paul with his hand raised like a polite young gentleman. Let's go, Paul.
Yeah, I agree with Quinn. I think guys are going to find a way to get in there, because the bad thing is I was reading some comments last night, and we still haven't got a clear answer from either the governor and or any of our ADs yet about, how many people they're going to let into the stadiums. All we've heard is it's going to be parents and close family members. And then, of course, they're saying, students are having access. A lot of ADs are saying, who are we to justify who a close family member is? So if some guy comes up, and I think the other thing is, too, is if some coach from Ohio State calls up, Boardman and says, hey, listen, I'm sending a guy up there to scout so-and-so. Can I get a ticket? I think that AD at that stadium is going to say, absolutely, we'll get you a ticket. If they call ahead of time, that's how you're going to get in there. I mean, you're not going to get in day of. I highly doubt you're going to be able to walk up to a gate at a lot of these schools and walk right in and buy a ticket. I mean, that's going to be few and far between. But if you make plans ahead of time, absolutely. I think because then they're going to say, all right, yeah, go on in, just, try to stay out of the stands if you can and just, mosey around the fence or something. I think that's going to happen a lot more because the couple ADs I have talked to, they said, if you really think we're going to try to ask who these people are who want tickets, you're foolish because that's not our job. Our job is to make some money. And if we're told we're allowed to sell 1,000 seats, then we're selling 1,000 seats to whoever can get them first.
We're gonna go to Michael down in the bottom. Go ahead, Mike. Unmute yourself. There you go.
I think Paul, when you talk about close family, I think what they're going to end up saying is immediate family, father, mother, immediate family. The same thing they did for the wrestling state tournament before that was shut down earlier in March. I don't see any reason. I don't see if they would expand to close family members because there's going to be a lot of leeway with that. And yes, you cannot determine that. I think that they have to stay with immediate family. And an Ohio State scout is different from a South Range scout. If an Ohio State scout calls you calls Boardman, let's say Boardman a week earlier and says, "Hey, I'm gonna come scout your quarterback." Of course, you're gonna let him in, meander around the fences. But if a South Range coach comes in and says, "Hey, I want to scout this team ahead of the Boardman game we have in 3 weeks because I have an open week. We're playing on a Thursday. Boardman's playing on a Friday. Why not come down and scout?" I think that that's a little different, in my opinion, because South Range is going to get the game film on Saturday or Sunday. All these high school coaches are getting your game film. That's how you're going to scout and determine how you're going to game plan for this upcoming game. I think that the film makes it different from a South Range coach coming and scouting a team than an Ohio State scout coming down to try to scout a quarterback.
Tells you so much because the Ohio State coach could get film if he wants it. Film only tells you so much.
Good point. I mean, I don't see any scouts getting in Ohio State or South Range.
So,
quite honestly,
you would, if you're the athletic director and Ohio State calls you because they're recruiting one of your kids, you're going to tell them no.
Are they going to get the game film?
You're going to tell Ohio State no.
Is Ohio answer the question? Am I going to be giving Ohio State the game film? That absolutely matters to me.
You're going to tell Ryan Day no, you can't come in.
Is Ryan Day getting my kid's game film? That matters to me.
And you're going to tell him no.
Is Ryan Day getting my kid's game film?
Sure. Say yeah. You're going to tell him no.
You guys are looking at two different dynamics, though.
Yeah. I think we're missing.
So when college coaches come to scout, generally it's not to watch what the player can do on the field. It's more so that they meet with the family. Sometimes it's, hey, are we missing on anyone? Is it, they want to see what their demeanor is off the field, how they act, just all the stuff around. I mean, this is the most irrelevant conversation in the world when it comes to scouting because you have Huddle, you have YSN now.
What?
I mean, there's avenues to find and break down tendencies. And Michael, I'm sure, as your dad knows, he sits there and watches film from God knows when till God knows when, sun up to sundown.
That's why.
But when you're going to interact with a college coach coming to scout, it's probably going to be a little pre-planned. It's going to be, hey, we're in the area that day, and it's not just we're coming to watch a game. We're going to come meet the school. We're going to come to the school. We're going to meet this guy. It's more so a whole ordeal than it is just you want to come watch them. Yeah, they want to watch them live just because you do get a different feel behind it, but it's not just well, we know what he can do on the field. We have the film for that. There's a little more intricacies to it when it comes down to, a college coach coming to scout because they're diving more into some more depths than if it was just to see what they can do on the field.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a new dynamic being, especially for Ohio State and some of the local schools around here, everybody essentially but Cincinnati in the state of Ohio is shut down for football. We're used to seeing coaches in the stands at basketball games. We're used to seeing coaches in the stands every other time of the year, but football, because usually this time of the year they're pretty busy, if I don't say so myself. So when you look at the way the situation is, are we going to see more college football coaches in the bleachers or more attention given this time of year to live action and football games, since for some reason, and I'm not complaining about it, the high schools are playing and the colleges aren't. Are we going to see that? Let's go to Jamie.
I definitely think so. Yeah. I actually got to sit behind Mike D'Antoni at a basketball game because he came to Hubbard to watch Curtis Drummond play. Just a quick story, but I think they're not going to pull scouts off the road or anything, but coaches are going to get out there and they're going to try and see these players for themselves. And kind of going back to the question, if you're a coach, I mean, it's kind of partly your responsibility to help your players get recruited, and same thing for an athletic director. So don't you think you kind of owe it to your player, whether it's Ohio State or it's Lake Erie calling, to try and get that scout in and get your guy to the next level?
Yeah, I think so. And the one picture that always stands out to me is Jim Tressel sitting in the Jeanette gym watching Terrell Pryor play basketball. And sometimes for blue chip recruits, you got to send the head honcho, right? And I think it's going to be interesting to see where head coaches end up this fall, especially if Ohio State's not playing football. Scotty, what's your take on this? Do you think that this is going to make a big impact with limiting fans? And if you're a big-time coach like a Ryan Day or a D1 coach that wants to get in, would you, as a superintendent or an athletic director, say, watch the game film? Oh, hang on. Sorry, Scotty. There we go.
I would have a hard time turning down a coach like that. I mean, I know everything is just different now with COVID, but I kind of agree with Quinn. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, DJ, because I think as far as the scouting goes and when it comes to scouting players, I agree with what EB said too about how there's more to it than just what's on the field. They meet with the family and whoever else is in that player's life too. So I just think most guys that are the studs and that are getting recruited by Ohio State or Ryan Day once they come watch them, I think they're going to have a solid shot of getting at least invited to the program anyway, or worst case scenario, walking on. So I don't see it affecting the scouting that much.
Awesome. Love it. Guys, we're going to take a break. Before we do, I want to remind everybody that this half of the show is brought to you by Baird Brothers. Visit them today at bairdbrothers.com. Their family's heritage, your family's home. The first ever corporate sponsor of YSN. It is, of course, Baird Brothers. When we come back, gentlemen, we've got a lot to talk about on the national stage. Tatis Jr. is making a lot of waves by hitting the Grand Slam up by 7. We're going to talk to you about if it's okay for him to apologize. Should he have not? And we're going to talk about the worst unwritten rules that we've ever heard in the game. We're also going to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates for about 30 seconds because that's all they're worth. And we're going to also talk about the Big Ten players. Should they have a beef that they're not playing? We will talk about the Lakers. We'll lean on our basketball experts here and talk about if the Lakers can overcome. We'll reintroduce you to YSN Boot Camp, and we'll have the first ever Yankee update with Jeff Bezos. And, of course, the G. Berbick Farms. What's your beef? All that and more coming up on the YSN Power Hour presented by Baird Brothers.
Hey, my Ohio friends, it's Mike Ditka, and I know great talent and heart when I see it. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are average real estate agents, then there are true champions. Kelly Warren is one of those champions, and you have her right there in your own backyard. Kelly outmarkets and outsells every agent in the Mahoning Valley. If Kelly can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, Kelly will buy it. Get your home sold. Call Kelly Warren today at 717-2689 or go online to kellysoda.com and start.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley here with a few of my good friends. Guys, I know it's a couple days aged, but the debate continues with Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting a grand slam the other day on a 3-0 count, up by 7, putting his team then up by 11. My math's correct. There's a lot of, I guess you want to say a lot of juice around baseball right now. People saying that it's an unwritten rule that you don't swing at a 3-0 pitch up by X amount. Even his manager throwing him under the bus, which I'd like to get into that too, because I think that's a load of crap. That this guy's putting runs up for your team, and you're gonna tell him that he can't do it. But I stand beside it. Should he apologize, or should he have apologized? Because he already did. And I mean, where do you stand on this? I mean, we're not going to start with Quinn because he's not a baseball guy, but it was his beef yesterday. So what the hell, Quinn? Go lead us off.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, if you don't want him swinging at a 3-0 pitch, don't throw it down the middle of the plate. That's stupid. It's completely asinine that anybody has a beef with this. And no, he should not apologize. Don't suck. Plain and simple. Don't suck. Don't throw it down the center of the plate. You don't have it hit over the wall. It's that simple.
I agree with Quinn 100%. It is what it is. You know, he was 1 for 4 going into that bat anyway, so he wasn't hitting the ball very well. So, yeah, hit a dinger if you're going to throw a 90-mile-an-hour
to Jamie as a Yankee fan, back-to-back Yank fans. How do you feel about this? I mean, is it good, bad, indifferent? Where do you stand?
I don't think he should apologize at all. I mean, he's hotter than hell in half of Georgia right now. He's first in home runs, tied for first in stolen bases, first in RBIs, tied for second in hits. I mean, dude is flaming hot. If you're going to throw it down the middle, take it. Go ahead. Bat flip. I don't care if you walk around the bases. Let the kids play. Tatis is a young kid.
About where you stand from a coach's standpoint and where you stand from if it happened to you. Oh, hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah, you muted everybody, so you're in charge of that now.
I can hear the crickets.
There's no crickets.
Does anybody else hear crickets?
No. But, like Jamie just said, Tatis, he's 21 years old, and so I was watching a bunch of commentators yesterday on this, and 2 of the 3 were on board with it's ridiculous that he's even having to apologize about this. He's a young kid. He's out there playing the ball hard, and like Jamie just said, he is hot. I mean, this kid is the best thing in baseball right now, and you're 3-0 to him. You had 3 pitches to not throw balls at the guy, and you threw balls at him. So, hey, it's 3-0. He's going to swing. And the thing was, if you watched the at-bat, the ball was low and away, and he took it to right field to hit a grand slam. And I have to disagree with Jeff, which isn't a surprise with anybody, that he said he wasn't hitting that well. The bat before, he hit a piss missile over left field. He crushed the ball out to left field that like they were like, holy crap, they didn't think he was going to hit that ball out either. So he had just came back from hitting a home run. And, you know, I'm sorry, if you throw 3-0 to a guy, it's green light. You know, unless it's something that's terrible and like the guy's been struggling, then yeah, you wait and see if he walks you. But I don't blame the kid for hitting the ball. And it's garbage that his own manager is making him apologize about it. And, you know, some of these unwritten rules of baseball are kind of, I'll be honest with you, and I've been a part of baseball, I'm 42, so, you know, probably 40 years of my life. Like, I'd never even heard of something like that, where it's 3-0 and you don't swing because you're up so many runs. That's garbage, whatever. And then hit him. Hit him then. You don't want him to get a hit, then plunk him. Put him on because you're going to walk him and get a run in, considering, or if you hit him, you're going to get a run.
Add to this.
Who cares?
He stole a base yesterday, up 6, right? Up 6 in the 4th inning. Nobody's
got a problem with that. If you watch, nobody had a problem with that.
Our society's got problems with everything because it's not a one-run game every single time you turn on the scoreboard. McNuggies, you were one of the ones that was kind of defending him earlier. I mean, where's your stance on this?
Whoa, and they only won yesterday's game 6-4 too.
Pipe down. This is why I control the mute button. Banished.
All right, I do think that he needs to apologize for apologizing in the first place.
What the hell?
All right, there was no need to apologize for that. I don't know. If you want to know why it's an unwritten rule? Because it's a stupid effing rule. It shouldn't be a rule in the first place. That's why unwritten rules are unwritten rules, because they're too stupid to be written down in the first place. If you get a pitch you think you can take out, you can hit in any capacity, I don't care if it's a 3-0 count or it's an 0-2 count, you go ahead and you swing at that pitch. And let's not forget the team that's complaining about this, the Texas Rangers, put up 6 runs in the 8th and 5 runs in the 9th just a few years back to defeat the Baltimore Orioles 30-3. And they're crying about a grand slam on a 3-0 pitch up X amount of runs. I think it was, 6 or 7? They did the same thing they did similar things to the Orioles back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Hamilton had 4 home runs in that game. If you hit 3 home runs and you're up 20-3, are you supposed to not go for number 4? If you have a chance to hit the first grand slam in your career, are you not supposed to swing at that pitch? The Texas Rangers need to just shut up about this and go out and try to win a game.
Whoa. Holy cow. That's a hot take. Paul, put your hand down. You already talked. We're going to go on to Scotty. Scotty, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I said this morning during my podcast, DJ, I'm open to, other people, how they feel in I try to be as sensitive as I can towards how other people, what their viewpoint may be. But all these stupid little so-called unwritten rules in the game of baseball, you can't bunt to break up a no-hitter or a perfect game. All these dumb little things they say, you gotta show good sportsmanship, when baseball itself is the most hypocritical. It's been part of the game for years, cheating, and they glorified the steroid era. But God forbid you swing at a 3-0 pitch when you're up by a lot of runs. It's bullshit, DJ.
All right, Scotty. All right, let's kick it over to Ty Bartell real quick and catch his side on it. Ty, how do you follow that up?
It's going to be hard to follow that up. But I don't know. The way I look at it, right, baseball needs to get their emotions in check. And we need to revamp with baseball. Because in any other sport, if a team is up by 30 in basketball, they're going to shoot away, and they're going to keep scoring if there's 5 minutes left in the game, right? End of a game. Same thing with football. They're going to still try to go for a touchdown. And there's times in that. The time is against you if you're the team that's down. In baseball, it's an inning. It's about out. So a team down 7-0, you could still come back and score 5 runs, 3 runs, and then you're up. So what is a team supposed to do? Stop scoring offense because you have your feelings hurt because you're down by 7? I don't know. I hate that rule, and I hate the unwritten rule about not showing up a pitcher because a batter can't celebrate when he hits a home run. When the pitchers, every single time they get a big strikeout, they're allowed to pump their fists, and they're allowed to show all kinds of overjoyment and excitement when they get a strikeout. But if a batter hits a home run, you're supposed to just take your home run. Don't show up the pitcher, but the pitcher could show up the batter all he wants. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, and I think some of these baseball
Anthony
players just need
Hartwood,
to
to
get their
you, I mean,
emotions in
you're
check.
a small market team. You've seen both sides of this. Talk to me about where you stand on Fernando Tatis and where everybody is going against him.
I think the saddest part of this is his manager put him in a position where he probably felt like he had to apologize. His manager did not protect him at all, threw him completely under the bus, and that's probably the only reason he apologized, because he's a 21-year-old kid. He probably felt like, uh-oh, my boss is upset with me, I better apologize. He was probably apologizing to his manager instead of apologizing to the Rangers, and I think that's the saddest part of the whole situation is
any final
his
takes on
manager
this
didn't
before
have
we
his
move
back
on?
at all.
Hand raise. All right, we'll go to Paul. Hang on, Paul. We can't hear you, Jeff, because you're muted.
All I hear is, him in the background from your mic. But, I mean, the big thing, too, is that, like, not a lot of people have talked about that I was watching yesterday is his manager and the general manager of the Padres all used to work for the Rangers. And so they felt a little embarrassed that, like, oh, shit, we just kind of did this to our former team. Sorry about that. And they made this kid apologize for something that there was no need to do it. And I was like, that's just – it really rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, this kid's out there playing his ass off and having a great season, and they're going to do that to him. But, the Rangers seem to forget, and I'm almost positive it was them, that a year or two ago that they had a guy going for 20 strikeouts, pop up over to first base in foul territory, and the first baseman, didn't even try to catch it, let it fall so the guy could get the 20 strikeouts. It's like, so wait a second, you're intentionally doing some things so somebody can get a record instead of, playing the game. Make that out. Get out of there. Sorry. Strike more guys out. You want those 20 strikeouts.
All right, on to the next topic. The worst unwritten rules in sports that you've ever seen. EB didn't have much in the baseball because you're not a baseball guy per se, but let's talk about the worst unwritten rules you know.
Just to go back to that, the fact that it's even a problem is why baseball's dying to begin with. Dude, hear me out. Your fan base is older. You're not getting enough youth players or youth involved in it. If you look at basketball, kids love it because it's fast-paced and there's a lot of scoring. Football, fast-paced, a lot of scoring now. Baseball, no one wants to see a 3-2 game. They want to see someone get worked by 10, 12, 11 runs. I think it's awesome. I think that's a dumb unwritten rule as much as I think the unwritten rule of in basketball, if you're up by 20, you have to play stall ball. Look, whether my team's up by 20 or down by 20, we're there to play. So it's my job to stop you, your job to stop me. Score. Don't sit there and stall it for 5 minutes because you want to be respectable. Man, just play the game.
I see it. The point taken with baseball, but every sport has those things. I mean, the dribbling out the clock, all that stuff. I mean, I've seen 4 minutes go by on a basketball game where somebody just stands beyond half court and holds it because they're up too many points. It happens in every sport. You find those caveats. But let's look at the other side. What is the worst unwritten rule in any sport that you've seen? That's the question.
Good question. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to unwritten rules because I'm not a fan of them. So you can give a tie on that one.
Ty, we're on to you.
It's going to be like I said last one. You can't show up the pitcher and celebrate if you hit a home run. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think if you hit a home run, you should be able to celebrate, just like in any other sport. If someone hits a big 3-pointer in basketball, they're able to celebrate. Catch a touchdown in football, you're able to celebrate. I don't know why baseball has this like rap on celebrating if you hit a home run. I think that's ridiculous.
Paul, we're on to you. You are not muted, so go ahead.
I mean, really, I guess the only one I really do have a problem with, I'd have to agree with Ty. I mean, I think that's crap too. I mean, you're up there fighting for your at bat, and if you hit a home run, and this guy's gonna be all pissed off because you're a little excited about it. I mean, most of the other ones I kind of agree with. I had to disagree with Scotty. Where the guy's got a perfect game or something going, and you bunt. To me, that's bush. I mean, it's like try to hit the ball. If you can't hit and swing the ball, and you got to try to bunt to get on, because you're going to break something like that up. That's crap. Next time I'm going to put it in your ear hole.
Scotty, don't bunt. We move on to Fernando Thompson over there. I can't unmute. You got to unmute yourself. Fernando, how you feeling about this unwritten rule stuff?
I mean, I do respect most of the unwritten rules, but the one I heard about, Tatis hitting the home run on the 3-0 count, I mean, that just kind of pissed me off. I mean, you're up there, you got the bat in your hands, go ahead, swing away. I respect it for swinging at a 3-0 pitch. I mean, I never would have done it. I was always scared that I was going to pop up. So that's the one that pisses me off.
Here's the question, and I like to think that I'm a baseball guy through and through. I played enough of it, not professionally, obviously, but I've never heard of this 3-0 count.
No, me neither.
That you don't. I've heard that if you swing, you better put it in play, and it better be good. I've never heard that if you swing and hit a home run that you're going to be criticized for it. I've never heard that as long as I've lived and as long as I've played. And I saw the snickering over there in that over in that corner. Let's go over to Billy Bob Betos and let's hear about your unwritten rules of maybe reading once in a while.
Jeez, all right. I wasn't sniggering about that. There was something just went 100 miles an hour under the curb.
We're gonna move you away from that window because you guys can't handle the window.
I think
squirrel.
Yeah, pretty much. Shit. Sorry. I think all the rules they're written by the worst unwritten rule I think is, and EB said it, is like you're up big in a game, right? And there's multiple times where third and second stringers get in the game. Why can't they have a little moment of glory on Friday night and scoring a touchdown? Why couldn't the kid that practices on JV that gets a chance to dress for the varsity game, why can't he score in a basketball game when they're up by 25 points or up by more than 28 points in a football game where when you're up by more than 10 runs? Why can't that kid get his moment of glory? I think those are the dumb written rules that you can't. You can't score when you're up by more than a certain amount of points.
Can you follow that one up, Quinn?
Speak clearly for you.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible today.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I guess a lot of the unwritten rules that you hear about, they're all coming from baseball. Like you don't really hear about too many unwritten rules and anything else unless you actually have been a part of it. Like Bailey said, like the pressing and all that stuff. Like pretty much any unwritten rule where, to me at least, it irritates me is when you have to change what you do just to make it so that the game continues. Like pressing in basketball, if you're up by 20 or whatever, that's not my fault. Like you got to stop me. That's your fault. If you can't stop me, I'm not changing what I do. So,
well, think about football. Football, the unwritten rules, if you're up by a whole bunch of points, don't be throwing the ball. Run the ball. Run the clock out and win the game. That's crap. I want to work on my passing game right now.
If you can't stop me, it's not my problem.
I can get behind that. I mean, I hate to be the bad guy, but your job is to stop the other side. So, Scotty, are there any unwritten rules that you think are kind of garbage?
Yeah, I was gonna say when people get on like a quarterback or a team for throwing the ball in the fourth quarter, but I know Muntz disagreed with me. I gotta say again, the bunting being frowned upon when you're trying to get ahead or break up a perfect game or a no-hitter. First of all, bunting's a lost art because nobody could bunt anymore. If they're able to bunt for a base hit, they should be considered, a multiple tool player. So I just feel like that one is stupid. If you're able to bunt and get on base to break up a perfect game, you should be able to do that.
All right, McNuggies, what do you got? What is your one rule that is unwritten that you think is stupid?
I'm going to go baseball, and I actually agree with Scotty. If I'm having trouble getting on base, I'm going to try anything to get my runner on to first base. I don't care if I'm down 6-0, 11-0, or if it's a 1-0 game. If I can bunt to get my guy on base, I'm going to give my guy the bunt sign, and he's going to get on base, all right? Throw it in my ear hole. Throw it in the kid's ear hole next time, okay? That's your kid's probably getting out of the game. He's going to get ejected because that's clearly
You took-
intentional. But, by whatever means you can get on base, get on base. I don't care if you got a no-hitter perfect game or you giving up 20 hits. If my kid can get on base, let him get on base. If you throw it in my kid's ear hole, we're going to have a little bit of a problem.
Oh, here we go. Let's do it. Let's go.
All right.
No, I'm going to get assault on a minor because I'm going to throw
All
it
right.
at the beginning because he's going to break up my perfect game.
Or he's going to break your hip, Pappy.
Yeah.
Let's go to Anthony Hartwig with his worst unwritten rule.
Just to add to the whole bunting debate, there are actual hitters that bunting is a part of their game. So if like a Gerard Dyson, for example, comes out,
Don't bring the Pirates into this.
well, he played for the Royals, so
Well, he used to
if
play
he
for the
comes
Royals.
up, he's
so.
in a bunt because he's a speedy guy, and that's part of his game, where he's going to try to slap it in the left field. But I'm going to stick with basketball because it's the only sport I've coached, so it's the only sport I can kind of speak to as being a part of it. And it's just what Quinn Eby said. When you're up by a lot, you're expected to kind of stop playing and let the other team catch up to you. I don't like. I mean, you keep playing the game. Respect the other team, but you're not going to stop playing just because you're up by a lot.
And actually, DJ, your Pirates did do that against Scherzer. Scherzer had a perfect game going in the 9th inning, and the guy leaned into a pitch so he'd get hit.
Oh, I remember.
Tom leaned his
That's different.
elbow
Don't
into
throw
it.
inside on him then. I mean, if you don't want somebody leaning, that's completely different to me than bunting.
He didn't throw that far inside. That guy leaned over the
That
plate
pitch was a
pretty
strike.
good.
Shut
with
up.
with his elbow.
Betos.
That video was just on Twitter today. That pitch was going to be a strike on the
Then
inside
it's the
corner.
umpire's
He couldn't hit
responsibility.
that ball. He didn't even hit off
It's
his
the
elbow.
umpire's jurisdiction to call it. And did he
That's
call
one
it?
of those rare calls, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But in that instance, I would have called it because the guy's got a perfect game going, and you're so bush.
Well,
you're going to
you would
lean in
call
and
it
get
because
hit.
you love being part of the game. You love being that me umpire that says, "Look at me.
No,
I don't care
not at
about you
all.
guys. You look at me."
No. So
You're probably an umpire that
you
has
ever-
your name on the back of your shirt.
Have you ever come watch me umpire? No. Okay, then.
No, but you
So-
send me selfies of you umpiring, so I guess I could technically.
No, I sent a
Weirdo.
selfie. Said this is what I was going to wear at on
Weirdo.
the Power Hour the next time.
Strike. But my one unwritten rule that I've always hated since I was stop poking me in the Brady box here. I hate the basketball call your own foul stuff, and because it's garbage. Because you got some guys. I mean, especially I hate
In a
to call
pickup
people
game?
out. Yeah, in a pickup game, you call your own fouls. There's some guys that take it to the rack, and if somebody kind of blows on them too hard, they call a foul or stuff like that, or call a travel in a pickup game or a double dribble. Like, that's my unwritten rule that I hate more than anything. Like, just don't be that guy. Don't ever be that guy. Whether that's legit or not, I have no idea, but I hate that guy that calls his own fouls literally on you. So here's a topic, guys, and it'll last 30 seconds. It's going to be like a Band-Aid. Let's just rip it off. The Pirates right now in the standings have a 0.3% chance of making the playoffs. And obviously with the playoffs expanded, how many teams do you feel could make it before the Pirates would make it into the playoffs? Would we have to make it 100 teams before the Pirates would enter the playoff system? Would it be 1,000 teams? Anybody care to guess or just throw something out into the lake?
You'd have to bring in every single farm team from every MLB squad, and then the Pirates would be able to sneak in with that last spot.
The wild card game.
Yep.
And we'd probably lose that at home.
We got a 0.4% more chance than we probably should have.
Does anybody buy into the Pirates doing anything this year other than being the worst team in baseball and tanking for the number 1 pick?
Yes.
Kumar Rocker.
They're terrible.
Kumar Rocker. I'm all aboard the Rocker train.
I at this point, I'd rather
I
have
think,
John Rocker, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
I met him once.
I think the 3 players off the bench warmers would beat the Pirates right now.
Absolutely.
that's not funny. That's not because that's probably real. That's
It's not funny because it's true.
We could probably beat
Call
the Pirates. Just
McNuggies.
us 9
We're
right
gonna
here.
review this tape, and you might end up grounded. I'm gonna send this to your folks. So just
Okay.
calm down there.
Sunscreen eater would get a hit off the starting pitching.
All right, here's one I want McNuggy's opinion on. Do Big Ten players have a beef that they don't have a season right now? Go ahead.
Hell yeah, they have a beef. Are you kidding me? They have gotten no answers for a week. Kevin Warren has gone into hiding since he made this decision.
Wait a minute.
No
time
vote
out.
was
Let
even
me,
had.
Let me give you your own box. Go for it.
Okay, I don't know if anybody saw this, but no vote was even had. Warren just had meetings on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to try to get all the Big Ten presidents on the same side, come out with a decision, and then go into hiding back in his home over in Minnesota because he hasn't even moved into Chicago. He shouldn't have even lasted a year as the Big Ten commissioner because he does not belong even in consideration to be in a commissioner spot for the conference of Class B. He shouldn't even be the commissioner of one of the leagues over at Bobstein Park. He is the worst commissioner in sports currently. These players, these parents, these coaches, they all deserve answers. And I believe that Warren has handled this in the absolute worst way possible. These Big Ten players deserved answers last Tuesday, and here we are a week later, August 19th, and we still have absolutely zero answers. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Anybody else want to chime in on this one?
I did hear that. I think it was the Ohio State athletic director or the
I heard that too.
Yeah, you heard it. They're trying to
Gene
get
Smith
like
is
a 16 season right now between.
He's working behind the scenes.
Yeah, us, Penn State, Iowa, Nebraska, the team up north, and then Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin and that team up north still have to sign on before that becomes possible, apparently. And Wisconsin's ready, but team up north has to jump through hoops with Whitmer before they can sign on.
Anybody else?
What was the question? I totally got lost as Michael was going on a rant. So,
do the Big Ten players have a legitimate beef about not playing football especially Ohio State players when everybody else is playing in the state of Ohio?
I mean, I think they definitely have a beef, especially Ohio State, since you just had a dude who was a former football player and is a doctor at the University of Ohio State come out and say, okay, yeah, we can do it for high school. And a lot of these kids are just fresh out of high school. So if I'm them, I'd be looking at it, well, why do they get the okay, but we don't? Especially now when all the parents are backing this and saying, we have zero problems if our children or a child plays football at this level. So you have the parents. I think this was all mishandled anyways because it was all done by the presidents. And I get it. The presidents are sitting there. They have to make a decision for the school, the whole school, not just the football program. But you should also sit there and maybe discuss this with your athletic director, say the head coach, maybe get some input from these players, see how they're feeling about it, and then go from there. So they totally have a case behind all of this. What happens, I don't know, but hopefully something comes of it.
Pirates wouldn't even make it past sectionals. That is the drop of the day. I love that. I mean, I'm with you. When you look around and the high schools can play in your stadium if there's a state championship per se, not to say it's going to happen, but why can't you play? There's a lot of questions around this. They certainly have a case, at least in my book. If things would have went differently yesterday, then I think that they wouldn't have anything to say about it. But interestingly enough, we saw some other this is the best. Can the Lakers overcome? Let's flip the switch to the NBA. Let's go to look how pissed Quinn is right now. Let's go to Quinn and have your great NBA insight about the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll overcome it. I mean, there's things to be concerned about, of course. I mean, Jeff likes to point in my little paper. I put some stuff down so I could remember it. I mean, they shot 15% from three. You're not going to win games doing that. And, I mean, yeah, they kind of cruised through the whole seeding games or whatever you want to call it before the bubble, and the Blazers had to play for their lives, so they're coming in a little bit sharper than the Lakers. It's whatever. The first quarter was bad. I get it. Then the Lakers played fine. I mean,
overrated.
Well, it's a problem. That's the plain and simple thing.
Overrated.
Don't matter. You'll see. Lakers will be fine. They'll win it in 6 at the most.
Let me ask you this, Quinn. If the Lakers don't win, is this the biggest drop of the ball, no pun intended, that of all time amongst them?
No. Because it's the same concept. You're going to have guys that are going to say, oh, this title, if they win it, they're going to have guys that say, oh, this means nothing because it was the bubble and all that stuff, and it means nothing to LeBron. And then you're going to have guys that if they lose it, they'll fight for that, and they'll be like, no, it's the bubble. It doesn't matter. So pick a side. It doesn't mean anything. If they lose, they lose. It happens, but they're not going to.
Anybody else want to see if the Lakers can overcome? Anybody got a hot pick?
I'll chime in on this one.
Okay.
It's game time.
That's right.
I'll chime in on this. and I totally miss when Paul had AOL because we couldn't hear what he said ever. So now he just chimes in whenever. But Paul, I'm just kidding. I totally love it all. But I don't think this is a big deal, really. Not yet. I think LeBron passed a little too much more, and that seemed to be a general consensus across a lot of sports talk today. He definitely needs to look to score because you don't have great scoring guards with the Lakers. Kuzma's hot and cold. If you bring back Rondo can't shoot. Anthony Davis he's a great talent, but he kind of disappears.
Went 8 for 24 from the field yesterday.
Especially, but he disappears in the fourth quarter a lot. And plus he's a little more traditional to be under the hoop. LeBron needs more space. That's why someone like Kevin Love worked pretty well with him. Even go back to Chris Bosh because they could stretch a floor. I wouldn't base anything off of game one. Naturally, everyone sits there and they're going to dog on LeBron because it's LeBron. It's the Lakers. It's supposed to be championship or bust. If they don't win it this year, it's not that big of a deal. Especially this year, I think if they don't win it next year, then there's a lot of trouble in Lakerland. But I wouldn't look too much into it.
Take a time out real quick. Hold up. Take a time out real quick to pay some bills. We are now in overtime, boys, and overtime brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. If you're looking for commercial or residential electric, make sure you give them a call. Go to DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com. Guys, it is overtime, and I gotta say, LeBron, when you look at what things are going, I mean, I just look at this box right here, and I gotta pull it up real quick. Right here, and I look at the guys, these two guys in the box, and I say, these two have called out Ron Potesta more than I know anybody for different reasons. One called Ron Potesta out because he's picked the Tampa Bay Rays to beat the New York Yankees, and the other saying that there's no way that the Lakers win the championship this year. I would say this.
There's a way.
On the record, if the Yankees don't win the East or are booted by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or whatever they're calling themselves these days, and the Los Angeles Lakers lose and don't win the NBA championship, you both have to do a formal apology right here on Power Hour to Ron Potesta.
Yeah. First off, I said the Blazers. I said they wouldn't lose to the Blazers. I didn't say they wouldn't win the championship. I said they wouldn't lose to the Blazers.
No, you said the last time I was on here, you said that the Lakers are winning the championship. You are all in on Los Angeles winning.
I called it the test out for the Blazers.
Well, Ron said that. Ron just said they wouldn't get out of the West. He didn't say they lose to the Blazers. He just lose to the Clippers.
He said the West, and you're pushing all your chips in on the Lakers.
But then he pulls them out whenever game one goes away.
Not Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard's the best player in the NBA right now.
I am so tired of hearing this conversation. I am so tired of hearing every time somebody wins a game, they're the best player in the NBA. What happened to Kawhi Leonard?
What happened to Giannis? He's a 7-foot freak.
Is he better than LeBron James?
Take Lillard over Giannis, you're ridiculous.
Giannis lost in the first game too.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Milwaukee.
No, they don't.
Now, I don't think that loss is all on LeBron at all.
It's not.
Yes, he missed 2 clutch free throws with under 4 minutes to go, and he missed 2 big-time threes under 5 minutes.
Davis missed 2 right
but
after.
he dropped 28 points, 17 assists, and 16 rebounds. Dude played his heart out. In the clutch moment, he could not come through, but overall, that entire game.
Somebody used to come in the clutch, sitting right over there over Anthony's shoulder.
I don't think there was too many missed free throws down that avenue.
But LeBron, if he needs KCP to drop more than 1 point, he needs Danny Green to not miss 10 free throws a game.
But wait a
if
minute,
he wants
he's the
to win.
guy. It's not who he's surrounded. Look what he's done by himself. Isn't that always the argument with LeBron James?
Superstar.
But he's always played in the East.
That has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
7-game series, my friends.
Game one. I've said this since the Blazers got that 8 seed. It's going to be the Lakers in 7. I will stand by that. But if the Blazers win game 2 and you are not, if the Blazers win tomorrow night, Quinn, and you are not seriously concerned,
I'm not.
Then you are
wrong.
You go down 2-0 to the 8th seed, you've got to be concerned.
He shot 5 of 32 from 3. There's
I
no
gotta-
way
If you do that again, if you do that again,
they don't. There's no way. 5 of
Barkley called it sweep.
No
Sweep.
way.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness.
It'd be the first time LeBron didn't
Blazers
get out of the first
sweep.
round of his career.
If the
Wait,
Blazers
what?
beat the Lakers,
It'd be the first time LeBron didn't get out of the first round. If they lose to the Portland Trailblazers in his whole entire career in the NBA, it's the first time he never got out of the first round.
That's great. He didn't make the playoffs last year, so that stat is useless.
Doesn't matter. You didn't lose in the first
You
round.
didn't lose in the first round.
Yeah, but you don't get there though.
If you don't get there, well, what's the
That
difference?
doesn't mean you lost.
you know, yeah.
The team we had around him last year.
It has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. If you make
Wait, what was that?
you become the first round.
Did you see the team he had around him last year?
Oh man.
Yeah, and he pulls his
No,
freaking
Anthony
quad
Davis.
midway through a playoff push.
It was his groin, by the
It's
way.
the same thing.
Big
Quad
difference.
No Anthony Davis. He missed about a month worth of games.
Yeah.
They played 55 games last year. Doesn't
Last year,
LeBron's got to play better.
that's completely
He has to play in
disregarded.
the third.
Defend him when he plays bad and lift
Look
him
at
up
Anthony.
when he plays
He's
good.
getting into that violin down there. He is just getting into it. I like it. Here's my thing: is when he is the best, it's all about LeBron, right? You barely even hear about AD, but whenever he loses, it's not LeBron's. You can't have it both ways. He at some point he's got to have accountability, right? Right? Am I wrong?
I mean,
Absolutely.
He's got to score more. Yeah, he missed 2 free throws in the game. Anthony Davis missed 2 right after him, so it doesn't really matter.
Why does everybody hate Anthony Davis so bad? Like he couldn't win without him, so they went and got him. And now what?
Because
like,
because people are using him as the scapegoat to say that LeBron's 2 free throws don't matter.
They
that's
both
what he
matter.
did in Cleveland.
Both
He
matter.
used
That's
Kyrie
the
and
whole
Kevin
point.
Kevin Love as scapegoats. It was never LeBron's fault.
He always has scapegoats. He always has this excuse to say
LeBron
that
tried really hard. He got us there. He got
his groin got hurt last year. He got us there 4 straight
He's
times,
never
even though
lost
he
in the
only
first
won
round.
1.
Interesting. Anybody else want to pile on LeBron James while you have a chance because he's probably going to win this series?
Lakers in 7.
He's going to win the series, but also LeBron is the first player to ever put 20, 15, and 15 in a playoff game, just so you know.
And he lost.
He lost.
Doesn't matter. Still the first to ever do it.
Yeah.
He lost.
Yeah.
It was in a bubble. It doesn't really count, so it's all right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not about wins and losses. It's about what stats you put up, right? So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
He has the best center in the NBA around him. So, I mean,
Power forward.
So
Anthony Davis is a power forward.
I don't give a shit.
That's a big man.
That's how I feel about the NBA, DJ.
Hey, while we're at it, why don't we get a Yankee update with Jeff Bezos here in overtime? Jeff, take it away.
Hello, this is Yankees update with Jeff. Yeah, they got their second home loss of the year last night. That person made the comment. Maybe you should go look on ESPN. Get a little facts before you throw it out there on the internet. Yeah, they lost to Tampa Bay last night. It's okay. I'm not worried. I'm still not worried. Like last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago that they were 1-6 going in playing against Atlanta, and I don't know how that went. Paul, how did that go? I'll let you finish that off. Swept Atlanta, and then went and swept Boston, and then won 6 straight games. So I'm not worried at all, baby. We have a 1.5 lead. It's just business, baby.
How'd they sweep Atlanta when Atlanta's in the National League?
Because they played them.
It was the East.
Oh,
they played
playing like that.
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyways, next.
YSN boot camp scheduled for tonight, tomorrow nights here at YSN World Headquarters in East Palestine, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. A lot of people coming. So if you are looking to be part of our team, and there's a lot of you out there, tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m., right here at YSN World Headquarters. For more information, you can email us at info, I-N-F-O, at ysnlive.com, or you can get up with us on social media, message us there, and we'll get you the address, and you can reserve your time. Guys, one more thing, or actually a couple more things before we get to our beef as I move to the brand section. Want to do our first ever fan of the day, and if you see right there down the middle, we have a screenshot from Will Rutledge watching us from Minnesota, and is a big fan, watches every day. So we want to give a shout out to Will Rutledge and thank him for watching our show.
Thanks,
Greatly
Will.
appreciated. Yeah, we appreciate it so much all over the globe. We have hit literally, guys, all 50 states with the Power Hour. So that's pretty exciting for us. thank our fans, because I think as we get out there more and we do this more and more every day, more and more people are liking this. They like this format, and we love our fans. Another thing before we get to our G. Berbick Farms, what's your beef? I'm going to get rid of this banner, too, because that just looks stupid. So it is the YSN Audible Call. We made the announcement yesterday that every Friday from 7 to 10, we will have the YSN Audible Call with a host that you are not going to believe. It's going to be like the NFL Red Zone for high school football. All of our teams, you'll be able to go to one channel, one spot, and have all your football covered from pillar to post from 7 to 10. It's the, thanks, Munts, it's the YSN Audible Call right here on your sports network. I love it. I'm super stoked for that. Something we've wanted to do since the inception of the company. And with 50-plus teams, it is going to be a wild time from 7 to 10 right here on the network. And it is going to be absolutely free. So you'll be able to tune in, ysnlive.com. It'll have its own channel. And I cannot wait to tell you who's going to be hosting this, because it's somebody I'm really fond of, somebody that's believed in YSN. And no, it's not you, Paul. Sorry. And it's somebody that's going to be really exciting and people know pretty well. He's been around for a while. So I'm excited to have that announcement. We'll have that on Friday right here on the YSN Power Hour. A couple comments before we go. There's Will. Thank you, guys. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. Keeping up with everything down here in Ohio. Robert Switka with an apology. Tatis apologizes, so does Robert Switka. My bad, 4 out of 5 so far. You have no hitters in the lineup.
He's a big Rays fan. I should preface that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Guys, let's get to our G. Berwick Farms. What's your beef? We'll start in the bottom row. Anthony Hartwig, lead us off.
All right, I guess my beef, I'm so happy because we have sports and I'm kind of geared up and I'm ready to get geared up. So I guess my beef is with that constant crackling noise. Who's doing that? No, it's distracting. I'm going to use that. That's so distracting, and stop it. You guys hear that too? That
No.
He's muted. He's done. He's out. McNuggies, you're up.
I'm out of here.
All right, I got 2. One is Kevin Warren after making a huge decision and then going and hiding. It's like when your little brother slaps you and then hides behind mommy so he doesn't have to give any explanation. And he seems like the good guy here. Second is unwritten rules. They're unwritten for a reason because they're terrible rules. All right, I hate nearly every unwritten rule ever said in the history of sports. Unwritten rules are stupid.
Okay. Scotty, wait. We're going to skip over Scotty. We have to keep him for last because none of us will go after him. So we'll have Scotty be last. Hang tight, Scotty. Let's go to Quinn and Billy Bob Betos up there.
Go ahead, Billy Bob.
No beef today from me.
Well, that sucks.
No beef.
My God.
I'm sorry. I got nothing.
All right, I got 2 beefs now. Jeff's one of them because that's ridiculous.
Jeff had 2 beef with chili and cheese earlier during the show.
Still got the wrappers, so
2 of them.
Yeah. Second beef, other than Jeff, is give LeBron credit. I mean, regardless of where you think he is.
Yeah, he's done. We're not listening to that.
Yeah.
All right, you're on to Jamie. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm beefing with anyone that's got a problem with Tatis stealing bases right here. Stealing bases is an absolute art. Tatis, go and get your bag, buddy.
I love it. All right, Muncie, what do you
got? I really no real bad beef today. I guess I'm going to kind of go back to some beef that people's had in the past of hey, if you're not on board with this right now, you need to be, because last night when Ty and I had that game out in Austintown, we had so many people come up and talk to us and say that they were, appreciative we were there. They listened to us. The one guy caught us out in the parking lot and talked to us for 10, 15 minutes about how he loves the Power Hour and that he watches every day and listens. And it's if you're not on board with this right now, don't come on board later when we're, skyrocketing up there even further. So
awesome. Ty, what do you got?
My beef is actually about last night with Paul. At the end of the game, I have a huge wad of gum in my mouth, and he tries throwing something to me to get me to talk right there as I have a huge wad of gum in my mouth, and I'm absolutely not ready to even talk. So my beef's with you, Paul, with last night.
It was a return for the beginning of the game. It's all right.
Yeah, it was. That's fair.
Sounds like you guys had a good time, EB.
So my beef is with one of my players, Emily Drennan, who called me the Easter Bunny. And then she proceeded to text me and try to get Michael McKenzie's number while we're live on air. So here you go, McKenzie. Here you go.
All
Oh,
right,
McNuggets.
buddy. Yeah.
Nah, we good.
He disappears.
No.
He says we're good. I'm gonna go before we turn over the show to the main event, Mr. Scotty Mincher. My beef just is again kind of piggybacking off everybody else. If you're not with us after yesterday, if you're not with us after the first 3 years, don't complain that you're not with us whenever we are on the moon, because we're about ready to plant our flag right there, right in the main cheese on the moon. Because, guys, what a day it was yesterday. There was a lot of emotions all over the place, celebrating our 3rd birthday, celebrating the fact that we have sports. And I got to say, if you're not with us, it costs absolutely nothing to your school. And with the pay-per-view, the way it's set up, you get 25% of the cost, at least, right back to your school. So if you're not with us, why not? Hit us up at info@ysnlive.com. Scotty, your time is now, my
Scotty,
friend.
this better be good. You got all the build up now.
Hang on. Okay, good.
Build up. Well, I don't know if this beef is going to top the last one, or if any beef ever will. But my beef today is we are not the United States of America. We are the divided states of America. I'm sick of people having to apologize for doing or saying something that doesn't physically harm someone else or put them in danger, but people just get mad because it's a different opinion. It's like, come on, people. We're better than that in America, and it just pisses me off. Find a middle ground, a happy medium, you douchebags.
The last 2 seconds are always the best with Scotty. The last 2 seconds. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of the YSN Power Hour. Whether you're here on this panel, whether you're watching, whether you're sponsoring, we appreciate you so much. Clientele, the main barbershop of YSN, the official sponsor of the Power Hour, we thank you so much. And we thank our main sponsors, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, for the first half of the show. And we thank the overtime sponsor, Joe Dickey Electric. Support our sponsors. That's all we got to say. Tell them YSN sent you, because they do so much for us. Guys, tomorrow we'll have another great show starting at 3 o'clock. We'll see you all then. Say so long